what did the Republicans say was going to happen with that bill? So they promised that it would pay for itself. They said that it would that workers' wages would go up, and that actually business investment would increase too. And I don't think actually any of those things have happened. It's been really an expensive failure. So as we look at it didn't pay for itself. It actually increased the deficit by $1.9 trillion. And I think a number of nonpartisan analysis have showed that it really expanded just the CEO's pay and corporation. In terms of Project 2025, I'm so glad you brought that up. So just to say a few words about that. So this has gotten some press. And this is something that the Heritage Foundation, a conservative foundation based in D.C., organized with lots and lots of conservative activists. And has many, many different pieces. But around taxes, it does a couple things. So one thing, the biggest thing it does is it would actually raise taxes on the middle class and cut taxes on the wealthy. So how does it do that? It proposes two tax rates. So a 15% tax rate for people who make less than $168,000 and a 30% tax rate for people who make more than $168,000. Sounds simple. What's the problem? Well, if you're making less than $168,000 now, that part of your income is being taxed at 10% and 12%. So you pay 15% instead. So what that means is you pay a higher tax rate, and it would cost you additional $2,300 a year in taxes you'd pay. But let's say you're making $5 million a year. You'd get a tax cut of $325,000. So we think, again, this is the idea that cutting taxes on the wealthy and increasing taxes on the middle class, we think is the wrong approach. The economy is really rigged, I think, for so many people. There's really two tax systems. If you're a nurse, you're a firefighter, you pay taxes every 2 weeks on your paycheck. If you're a billionaire, you basically can pay almost nothing in taxes because you're getting a lot of stock. And if you never sell that stock, you can pay zero in taxes. So billionaires actually now pay a tax rate of about 8%. Your average American pays a tax rate of 13.6%, so almost double. So we shouldn't be having these two tax systems, one for the wealthy, the super wealthy billionaires. That's why we need, actually, one of the things we propose is a billionaire's minimum income tax. The Democrats in 2022 passed $80 billion for the IRS to hire more staff. And the results in just a couple years have been pretty amazing. I mean, first off, call time, when you call the IRS, you need help. It used to take 30 minutes to have to be on hold, and now it's 3 minutes. So customer service has improved dramatically. And then also, the IRS has gone after these wealthy people who haven't paid their taxes. So for millionaires who owed money, the IRS has already collected $1 billion. So that's what happens when you give the IRS the tools to do its job. And actually, I think a lot of studies have found that for every dollar invested in the IRS, it returns $12. The $400,000 pledge is a very important one. So what they say is that anybody making less than $400,000 a year, their taxes would not go up, not even a penny. But if you make more than $400,000 a year, they would be asked to pay their fair share. So the idea is that the wealthy and big corporations should pay additional taxes. Corporations got this huge tax cut of 40%. And what happened was stock buybacks went to record levels. So what that is a corporation buys its own stock back. Why do they do that? Well, it raises the price of their stock and makes the people who own it, so the CEO and other rich investors, then become wealthier. So that's where a lot of the money has actually gone from these corporate tax cuts, is to stock buybacks. And the Democrats passed in 2022 a 1% minimum stock buyback tax. So it's a tax on when they do that. And actually there's the Biden-Harris administration has proposed a 4% stock buyback tax. And we fully support that. 97% of low-wage workers don't get tips. So it impacts very few low-wage workers. And we think there are a number of ways to help low-wage workers that would be much better. The first one is raising the minimum wage. That would have a big impact. Also helping unions to be part of, helping workers to be part of unions. And then some of these pro-worker tax credits that we were talking about, the child tax credit, earned income tax credit. So those three things I think would have a bigger impact than this proposal.